Peace, family. I hope you guys are happy and healthy and doing well. Excuse my scarfage. I'm just having some thoughts right now in the garden, and I thought I would share them with you. So today is Wednesday, and it's hot again. So it's maybe 2 days after the frost, and it's looking rough, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. This is chamomile. The chamomile looks great. There's 2 of them. These are my baby's radishes, and they're looking a little rough. So I tried to pull off most of the rough leaves. Same with my greens. I almost want to pull these out. The broccoli is trimmed. Everything is trimmed. So there was a tomato there, if y'all can remember. It was bushy and beautiful. It died. There was a squash there that I never really expected much from. There were basils. So you're going to see a lot of leaves thrown around, because what I think I'm going to do, instead of trying to hurry up and replant these spots, is I'm going to let those roots die. So when I cut a plant out, I cut it low at the bottom, and I leave the roots in there to just break down, feed the worms. I don't want to disturb the soil too much. So what I'm doing is just throwing things on top that will hopefully break down and feed the soil and get ready for my spring planting. And what my thoughts are right now is that, first of all, I was like, greens, why y'all looking like that? Why y'all looking like this? Because greens, brassicas, like radishes, like greens, like broccoli, are supposed to be cold hardy. But what I realized is that the weather fluctuates so fast that even if you're cold hardy, you may not be okay with that. This is my poor little borage. I hope it makes it, but it don't look like it gets any. Doesn't get much sun because of the cabbage. So we'll see. So I fertilized over here just to kind of help revitalize these. The onion chives look good. I will say that this bed, I don't think is the best one for brassicas. And let's walk in. Let me tell you why. It gets hotter here, but the hottest spot in the garden is over there. But it may be a little bit hot for my brassicas over here. These are the brassicas that get attacked more by worms. As you can see, this cabbage, I'm going to show you this cabbage, and we're going to walk and see the other cabbage. Now, this cabbage is making a head, so that's exciting. And the damage that you see on here is old damage. Like, it's just still growing bigger with the old damage. Every once in a while, I'll come and cut off like a super raggedy looking leaf or two. So let's go look at the other cabbage and the other bed where I think brassicas do better starting right here. This is a perennial cauliflower, and it looks fine. I didn't do anything to it when I came back after the frost. This is where I have a lot of brassicas planted. So I've got my tree collard, which looks great. It didn't have any damage so far. This is where my baby broccolis are. That one is a peacock broccoli. Carrots are frost hardy, and they look fine. This is I think a purple sprouting broccoli. More carrots, peacock broccoli. Look how beautiful this cabbage is, you guys. I have pulled 2 worms off of here the entire time. One of those green inchworms, and me and my husband found a big old black something sleep up under here one time. Other than that, this cabbage is doing amazing over here. It is so happy. Here's the cauliflower. Doing great. I've got, that's peacock broccoli too. Those are greens. This little one over here is greens. There was not as much frost damage on brassicas specifically over here, and I think that's because it's cooler over here already, so the change wasn't as drastic for these. So it's not just the temperatures that the plants can withstand, it's also how fast. Like if it was 80 degrees when you went to bed last night and you wake up and it's 30, well, I mean, we were with that. I'm not cool with that. And so I'm just learning, which I kind of knew. The reason I put one cabbage in one spot and one cabbage back here was so that I could see what was the best place for the cabbage. The reason why I put some greens over there and some greens back here is so that I could learn where is the best place for my greens. And like, you can even read books, you can watch lots of videos, which I do, but experience, I think, is the best teacher. So I'm also thinking that when I first got here, I was wanting to do like a hoop house and covering and stuff, and I didn't do that. I was like, well, I'm planting mostly winter vegetables. I'm going to protect my longevity spinach and stuff, and so I decided not to do that. But I think in this bed, these may have really benefited from that. I had a tomato here. I don't know if it would have lived, but it definitely wouldn't have been in shock as much. But the greens, these are what I was expecting to still do well and still thrive here. And I think putting a covering, say like the hoops with the plastic over it or something of that nature, would have protected them from the drastic change in temperature. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I'm learning as I'm going. Some things that I did was I left this zinnia here. I had zinnias. You can see the stem here. This was the big one that had that really pretty flower on it. They looked dead, but this one looked more green than the others. I mean, it's got dead leaves that I'll pull off, but I just left it there just to see if it might come back. I don't know. If it doesn't, I'm not like emotionally invested in whether or not it comes back, but I'm just curious. My garlic here still looks great, and so what I'm gonna do is, you know, I'm gonna cover this bed up in some of the empty spots. I don't want the soil to dry out. I definitely want to keep feeding it, and I'm gonna start some seeds soon. This is my only longevity spinach that died. The ones in the jars didn't die. The ones over by the greenhouse didn't die, and the ones in the bed back there didn't die. So you guys let me know what you think about that. I'm not sure if this spot was too hot. Is it the same as these? Like the temperature right here just fluctuated way too much for it. That may be the case. I'm also noticing in my garden that this echinacea is growing leaves beautifully. And this echinacea is growing leaves too, just a little slower, because if I take a step back, hopefully you guys can see where the shade is right now. The sun just hit this echinacea, but the sun hit this echinacea way before that. So echinacea likes sun, and I tried to put it in the front of the bed because this fence shades some of the sun out, but also just being over this way away from that fence helps this one echinacea do better than that one. But I think they will both be healthy. I just really want to observe. So I guess the title of this video will be observation, because that is what you want to do in order to have success in your garden, is observe. This pigeon pea looks a mess. I'm going to plant another seed, but pigeon peas are perennial, So I'm going to leave that there. I fertilized it, and I'm going to see if it maybe comes back. Also, your observations don't only have to be in your yard. This is a papaya. I've been watching this papaya to see how it does in our weather, and that's in my neighbor's yard. It has fruit on it now, but all the leaves are dead. I don't know if it's gonna recover, and it looks like they have guava right here beside it. So you can also take observations around you. I did also notice that one of my peppers still has good leaves. Right here, it's got some healthy leaves there. This was my hot pepper. And I'm still going to try to overwinter all of these peppers very soon. Because I don't know how long you have been watching me. It depends on how long you've been watching me, but in San Diego, I had a pepper plant that came back from a twig like this. And that pepper plant kept growing, and it was at mommy's house. I just now pulled that out last week because it was slowing down on the peppers. I didn't love the peppers that it made. They were super tiny. I don't know if that was because of the pot size that it was in. However, I learned from that peppers can come back from the roots. That's kind of the idea behind overwintering them, as well as that as long as you keep those roots alive, you should be able to get peppers quicker in the spring or in the summertime when it's time for them to start producing. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. As I'm walking around my garden and kind of cleaning it up. It is not a pretty sight right now, but I definitely am learning. I'm going to definitely be taking notes in my gardening journal so that next year, when the frost is coming, I will be better prepared. I'll know what to do. I also moved a few things into the greenhouse that I'm hoping will be okay. I'll show you guys that, and then we'll end the video. So as you can see, the greenhouse is doing well. The ginger looks great. This is my oregano. I didn't know I needed to protect it. The other type of oregano that I have still looks great. So I put it in here. I hope it's going to be okay. I don't know for sure. But if it wants to come back, I'm going to love on it. And then my mom gave me those, and they did not like the cold. So let's hope they come back from the roots. So anyways, guys, to share that with you, as I've been learning permaculture principles, one of the things that they teach is observation. Even before you start planting things, you really need to observe your land. You need to observe the sun. You need to observe the soil, just so that you can have as much success as possible when you start planting and creating your garden space. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.